Dr. Marcus Reed adjusted his exosuit's atmospheric regulators as he watched Kithra examine the Earth specimens through the laboratory's containment field. Her elongated fingers traced patterns in the air, manipulating holographic displays with the fluid grace that had first captivated him 6 months ago when the Valdrian research vessel had arrived at the Kepler station. "Your species fascinates me," Kithra said, her voice carrying the melodic undertones that marked her as one of the Valdrian elite. Her silver-scaled skin shimmered under the artificial lighting as she turned toward him. "These biological samples suggest reproduction requires physical proximity between genetic contributors." Marcus nodded, trying to maintain professional composure despite the flutter in his chest. The Valdrians were an ancient species, their civilization spanning millennia while humanity had barely scratched the surface of interstellar travel. Yet for all their technological advancement, they had long ago abandoned what they considered primitive biological functions. "On Valdros, we transcended such inefficiencies millennia ago," Kithra continued, her large, opalescent eyes reflecting curiosity rather than disgust. "Genetic material is combined in synthesis chambers. Clean, precise, optimal. What you call mating appears to be merely a ritualistic precursor to reproduction." Marcus felt a familiar pang of frustration. Over the months of their collaboration, he had grown increasingly drawn to Kithra's brilliant mind and ethereal beauty, but the cultural chasm between their species seemed insurmountable. How could he explain that human connection transcended mere genetic exchange? "It's more complex than that," he said carefully, pulling up a holographic display of human neurochemistry. "See these neural pathways? During intimate contact, humans release oxytocin, dopamine, and endorphins. It creates emotional bonding that extends far beyond reproduction." Kithra's head tilted in a way that indicated deep thought among her people. Emotional bonding through physical contact. But surely this is inefficient. The Valdrian Council determined centuries ago that emotional attachments cloud judgment and impede progress. Marcus stepped closer, his heart racing as he made a decision that could destroy their professional relationship, or perhaps forge something deeper. "Kithra, may I show you something? It won't harm you, I promise." Her eyes narrowed with scientific curiosity. "What do you propose?" He extended his hand, palm upward. "Touch. Simple skin contact. Your species has enhanced sensory capabilities, you might perceive the biochemical changes I'm describing." For a long moment, she stared at his outstretched hand. Then, with the careful precision of a researcher approaching a fascinating but potentially dangerous experiment, she placed her fingers against his palm. The effect was immediate. Kithra's eyes widened, her breathing quickening as her hypersensitive nervous system registered the subtle chemical and electrical changes in Marcus's body. The warmth of contact, the racing pulse, the flood of neurochemicals that accompanied human touch, all of it washed over her enhanced perception. I can sense it," she whispered, her voice carrying notes of wonder. "The neural cascade, the hormonal surge. But there's something else. Something my instruments cannot measure." Marcus intertwined their fingers, his own breathing unsteady. "That's what we call connection. Intimacy. It's not just about reproduction, it's about sharing existence, creating bonds that make us stronger, more complete." Kithra's silver scales rippled in patterns he had never seen before, and he realized with growing amazement that she was experiencing something unprecedented in Valdrian culture. Her cool, logical demeanor was cracking, revealing something rawer and more vulnerable beneath. "On Valdros, we pride ourselves on transcending base biological needs," she said, her voice barely audible. "But perhaps we lost something essential in that transcendence." Marcus moved closer, his free hand gently touching her face. Her scales were smooth and cool, but he could feel the rapid pulse beneath. "What we call mating isn't just a ritual, Kithra. It's a sharing of souls, a moment when two beings become something greater than the sum of their parts." As their lips met, an impossibility that bridged species and cultures. Kithra finally understood that some evolutionary traits were preserved not because they were efficient, but because they were fundamentally, beautifully human.